Well, hello Lapidary lovers, rock tumbling fanatics. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. And once again, we are standing in front of my tumbling station with my two smaller tumblers, and in the back I've got my big home-built high-capacity tumbler with two 6-pound barrels and one 12-pound barrel. Now in this setup, the 12-pound barrel is always in rough, so I'm always putting new rough stones in there and pulling them out when they're ready to move on. Now the other barrels are doing other stuff, and today we need to have a look in this N 6-pound barrel over here because this is in medium grit right now, and it has been for well over 2 weeks, probably closer to 3 weeks. I got busy and didn't do anything with it. So the stuff in here, at least most of it, is probably ready to move on to pre-polish. So I'm going to take this tumbler off. I'll go dump it out, rinse off the rocks, and we'll take a look at them over under the lights and see what they look like, see if they're ready to move on. I also want to check them for damage because I've been having some trouble with softer stuff being damaged by the time it gets to the polish phase. So I want to inspect the rocks. I'm trying to figure out exactly at which point the damage happens. So we'll see if we got any damaged rocks in here, as well as what they look like and whether they're ready to move on. So let me get this cleaned up, and I'll see you over under the lights at the lab bench. All right, so here we are under the lights, and I'll give you a closer up look at the rock. I just want to explain my methodology here. I've got a bucket, about a third full of water back here. I'm keeping these wet so they don't dry out. Any that I think are ready to move on are going to go into the bucket of water so they stay wet. Any that I think aren't ready to move on are going to go right back into the tumbler drum here. And I have some other stones that need to go through medium grit, so I will add them to it, and we'll restart it at the end of the video. But I just want to make sure that this stuff that goes into the bucket is ready and ready to move on. So we're going to look at these with a really critical eye. I'm getting much pickier about what I let move on to the next stage as time goes by. And I think it leads to better results. So let me reset the camera here, and we'll take a close-up look at these rocks and decide which ones are ready to move on and which ones need more time. Well, are those some pretty rocks or what? Right here on top, we've got a piece of this weird chert that I found in Wyoming, with a yellow and red rind on it and a sort of green moss on the inside, but I'm pretty sure it's chert. And this looks really nice. This is nice and silky smooth everywhere. This is ready to move on. And I don't see any damage on it. That's looking pretty good. So into the bucket of water it goes. Got some mookaite here. This is an end piece, an end cut. So this side I know is going to be rough, and we'll probably never fully clean up. The question is this side ready to move forward? And it's just not quite as silky smooth as I would like. So I think this piece is going to have to go back into the tumbler drum for some more tumbling. Here's a piece of the Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Pretty much all the petrified wood in here is going to be from the Dobell Ranch. Well, I take it back. One or two of them are probably from my own property. So this, again, nice and silky smooth everywhere. This is ready to move on. The colors in that. Isn't that amazing or what? Another piece of that funky chert. And again, this piece right here, silky smooth, ready to move on. Our petrified wood from the Dobell Ranch. It's got a couple of fissures in it, but I knew those wouldn't clean up in these finer grits. And there's really not much I can do about them except tumble the whole rock away in rough grit. So we'll just move this one on because otherwise it's pretty smooth. Keep the rocks wet. I can see them drying out some. Yeah, here's a piece of petrified wood from my own property in Arizona. My property is very near the Petrified Forest National Park. And I find a lot of petrified wood on it. Generally not as good as what you get at the National Park or at the Dobell Ranch, which is just outside the Petrified Forest National Park. But still, some interesting looking pieces. Decisions. I think this one's ready to move on. It's got one rough area here, but that's never going to clean up. I think otherwise it's ready to move on. Some more Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Again, super silky smooth. Pretty much everywhere. Yeah, that's ready to move on. Colors in there. Crazy. Love it. And some more petrified wood. Oh yeah, look at the oranges and reds in there. I do hope they're showing up. That's ready to move on. Some more of this funky chert. Again, it is ready to move on. Haven't seen any pieces with damage on them yet. Now, the damage I was getting was on this amethyst along the edges. Now, this amethyst was horribly fissured and rough before I started tumbling it, so I knew it was never going to totally clean up. But I am not seeing any damage along the edges, which tells me the damage is not happening in the medium grit stage. Okay. There's one. Here's another. This one I think needs to tumble a little while longer. This one looks pretty good. At least as good as it's going to be. Move that one on. Yeah, again, it's about as good as it's going to get. So we'll move that one on. Yeah, so I'm not seeing the kind of damage on the edges of these at this stage that I'm seeing later on. So I guess it's just not happening here. Oh, here's another one down here. You know what? I'm going to tumble this one for a little while longer. All right. Drying out again. Got a big piece of red Jasper that my buddy Jim sent me. This one, yeah, that is never, ever going to clean up. I knew this was going to be problematic. I don't know what to do with this stuff, Jim. Some of it, I just don't think it's ever really going to tumble nice. Maybe if I was to break it and throw this section here back in rough, I don't know. But I'm just going to pull this one out and not even going to bother tumbling it anymore. Ah, here we go. Yes, there we are. This is one of my favorite pieces that I knew was in here. This piece of agate in here with a pattern of moss, and it looks like an Indian headdress. Very transparent. I hope the transparency is showing up, or translucent, I should say. So this is an amazing piece. This one, super smooth, absolutely everywhere. So this one's definitely ready to move on. Thin slab of purple agate here. I would say this is ready to move on. Got some rainbow petrified wood, Dobell Ranch again. This one may have fractured while it was tumbling because it's very rough up here, and I don't think I would have moved it on to medium grit if it was that rough. So I think this must have fractured while it was tumbling. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to put this back in the drum and let it tumble some more. Here's another, basically same stuff. This one, on the other hand, super silky smooth everywhere. We're going to move that one on. Some banded iron. Banded iron. That's a heavy little rock right there. It's got a lot of magnetite in it. I find the banded iron is a little harder and takes a little while longer. And this piece, I think, needs to tumble just a little while longer. It is not quite as smooth as I would like it to be. So we will tumble that some more. Some crazy colored Jasper. This has a bunch of pits in it right here. That's never going to clean up. This side has some pits up here. Those are never going to clean up. But by and large, it's very smooth. I think we can move that on. Another piece of chert, colorful chert. Very Very smooth. This stuff in the petrified wood seemed to be the easiest stuff to tumble in here. Everything else can present problems, but this stuff in the petrified wood, they're just easy. So that one can move on. Ooh, we got some tiger eye here. So this is an end cut. This side right here, it's got a line of pits and fissures down here, which never going to clean up. This part up here feels pretty smooth. Again, this is pretty smooth up here. Some pits and fissures down here on this side. So yeah, this edge right here's got some pits and fissures, but that's not going to clean up. And if I put it back in rough grit, well, we'll just tumble the whole thing away trying to clean it up. So I think we're good enough to move on to pre-polish. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? We'll move that forward. Here's another piece of tiger eye. Oh, this one's much smoother. Okay, this side's got some pits, but they're pretty deep. That's never going to clean up. This side, super silky smooth and pit-free. So this is obviously the money side right here. I think this is ready to move on. Let's see here. You know, I am not 100% sure what this is. Let me look at it up close. This is either some kind of agate or some fully agatized petrified wood. I am not 100% sure which. It looks like a mostly black matrix with some yellow-orange plumy stuff in it, and then up here it becomes sort of yellow-orange translucent. So I don't frankly remember where this rock came from, but it is definitely ready to move on. It is super smooth, so we'll put it in the bucket. Got some little pieces here. Banded Jasper. I think these will just be tumbling media. I'll just leave them in here as tumbling media. I think they're too small to do anything with. Some more petrified wood. Very colorful, but a little bit on the rough side. I think this piece needs to tumble some more. Some Jasper agate here with some clear chalcedony running through it. I don't know if that's showing up. Purple and red Jasper with translucent chalcedony through it. Oh yeah, this is my Superman one. Got the S shape to it in translucent chalcedony. Isn't that cool? So yeah. All right, I would say this one's ready to move on. It is super smooth everywhere. So I want to see that polished up. That's going to be cool. What do we got over here? We got a little slab of banded iron. I can see the tight little bands of hematite in it and lots of colorful Jasper. This one I think is ready to move on. This one is, well, maybe it needs to tumble a little while longer. Okay, it's got a rough edge. Let's see, some more Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Got some nice colors down here. Patterns over here. That's super smooth. That's ready to move on. Some more petrified wood. Oh, look at the colors in that. Look at that. That is super cool. Got some clear chalcedony. Maybe even quartz, it looks like, in there. And then colorful bands of agate. Oh, yeah. Super. Oh, I hope those colors are coming through. They are these crazy intense colors. All right. That one's ready to move on. Another piece of petrified wood here. It's rough on the edges, but I don't really want to tumble it away. So I think we'll move it on because it's the faces that are interesting on this. So we'll move that one on. Got some more petrified wood here. This one might need to tumble a little while longer. It's cool colors in it though. And another piece of petrified wood. This one's ready to move on. That's super smooth. More of that fissured red Jasper, but this stuff a little less fissured. It's actually going to take a a fairly decent polish on this side. Well, we'll get one good side out of it anyway. We'll move it on. Another piece. Some of these I've had to tumble until they're almost gone to get them looking halfway decent. But that one's ready to go. Let's see. We're getting down to the smaller stuff here, but this is a really cool piece of petrified wood. Even though it's small, it's got great colors and patterns in it. So we'll move that on. Another piece of this banded iron. Very rough along this side. I think what might have happened, you see here. Yeah, look at that. These broke while tumbling. So it's the broken faces that need a little more cleaning up. We'll do that. Some more banded iron. Oh, this is super smooth and ready to move on. That's cool. What do we got here? This is some banded iron too. And we're getting down to the small stuff. I'm going to move that one ahead. Oh, there's a big piece hiding. That's another piece of petrified wood for my own property. Yeah, it's got some neat black moss in it. I hope that's showing up. But I think it needs a tumble. It's just a little while longer. Oh, there's another piece of the 4-piece amethyst Jim sent me. Again, I don't really see any damage on the corners or edges. So, into the bucket with it. Nice piece of banded iron. That piece looks ready to go. Let's see here. A little piece of petrified wood. That's ready to go. Is there anything but tumbling media left in here? That could be tumbling media. A little bit of agate. Oh, yeah. That's a little bit of agate. It's got some fortifications in it. They're not super prominent, but they're there. That might break with further tumbling, but it's got a bad fissure in it. But it's super smooth otherwise. We're going to move that one forward. And I think the rest of this, yeah, I like the looks of that. We'll move that forward. But I think the rest of this is just tumbling media. We'll keep this stuff as tumbling media for the next batch. In fact, what I'm going to do is, here's the rocks we're not moving forward. Put the tumbling media right back in here. And we'll add some more rocks to this and get it spinning again here shortly. So I've got my ultrasonic tank out, and as per usual, I am going to clean these rocks between stages. Whoops. The ultrasonic tank does a really good job of cleaning the remains of the last grit off of the rocks before you send them forward into the next grit. And that's pretty important. I'm going to have to do these in a couple of stages. There's just too much here. So spread these out a little bit. Put in a few drops of Dawn dishwashing detergent. Not a lot. Don't want it all foamy. And we'll let these go for about 45 minutes. And oh yeah, let me reposition the camera and show you what's going on in there. Can you see the mud coming out of the nooks and crannies on the rocks? Yeah. That's what the ultrasonic does for you. It's cleaning the old grit and mud out of all the nooks and crannies on the rocks. You can rinse these until the cows come home. You know, you can burnish them in the tumbler for hours, but you'll never get them as clean as this thing will do in 45 minutes. Let me tell you that. That's guaranteed. So we'll just let this run, and then I will swap out these rocks for the ones and the rest of the ones in the bucket that didn't make it in on this trip, and we will have some super clean rocks ready to move on to pre-polish. Well, while the ultrasonic tank is doing its thing, let's reload this tumbler with some stuff. Ah, yeah, that right there. Some of this stuff is amazing. You've probably have seen it before. If you watched enough of my videos, you'll see this stuff go through every step. So this has come out of rough a while back, and it's been waiting for a tumbler to be available. It's in medium. So this is petrified wood from the Dobell Ranch. Here's an agate that I found in Wyoming. Half of one. The other half is rough right now. So we'll put this one in here. Some more petrified wood from the Dobell Ranch. Ditto. 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 Some nice banded iron. Yes. This is some green mossy agate. You see the moss in there? That's crazy great. So we're going to put a few pieces of that in here. A couple more pieces. More Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Like some of the stuff we took out on this batch. Weird agate I found. Dobell Ranch petrified wood. Yeah, we're filling this thing up pretty good. I might need a little more tumbling media in there too. More Dobell Ranch petrified wood. I don't think I'm going to get all this stuff in. See what else we got here. We got some Wyoming petrified wood. This stuff's different. Kind of brown. A little more subtle colors and patterns in it. And we'll throw in one more piece of Dobell Ranch petrified wood, and I will go get some more tumbling media to put in here and top this off. Oh yeah, we got some good looking rocks in there. Alright, so I need some more tumbling media. My buddy Jim has turned me on to using this scrap Brazilian agate. It's pretty plain. It's been cut up into little squares. Makes great tumbling media. My buddy Jim sells this stuff on eBay, and it's dirt cheap, and it's really the greatest tumbling media you'll probably ever use. So if you're interested, go check out his eBay site. I'll put a link in the video description to where you can find it. So that looks pretty good. We'll get some water and some grit in there. Is that gonna? Yeah, that'll fit. All right. Sure everything will find its place in there once it tumbles for a little while. That's probably a little too much water. Let me dump some of that off. Okay, that's a little better. All right, so some 220 grit here, which is my medium grit. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is a 6-pound tumbler. I really don't think I need to put 6 scoops of grit in it at this stage. I think we're going to see pretty good action with 4. And I'll check it in, a week or so and see how it's going. And if it looks like all the grit's broken down, I'll add some more. Let me get this sealed up, and we'll get it tumbling again here in a bit. Okay, let me write the date on here. Today is 3/13. Hey, one day before Pi Day. And we are in medium grit, so we'll just let this go. Like I said, I will check on it in a week or so and see if it seems like it needs more grit, see if the grit's all broken down in there. But I like them to go for at least 2 weeks in medium grit. And then we'll just sort through them again. All right. So I'm going to finish cleaning up those other rocks, get the second batch through the ultrasonic, then I'm going to dry them all off and then store them in a clean container until I have a tumbler free for pre-polish. All these tumblers are doing something else right now. But eventually one will be free for pre-polish and they can go into pre-polish. So there you go. I hope you folks found this What Am I Tumbling Today episode interesting, educational, informative, inspirational, whatever. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.